Dr. Todd Disotell. I am a molecular anthropologist at New York University, where I run the molecular primatology lab. I basically study humans and all of our primate relatives using DNA for the evidence. So evolutionary history, relatedness. I specialize mostly on non-human primates, so lots of work on monkeys and apes and lemurs and stuff like that. And our laboratory has helped actually identify new species of monkeys and new subspecies of apes. And it's exactly that kind of research, those kind of laboratory methods and computer methods that can be applied to basically any new or unknown species. So first of all, I don't consider myself a Squatcher or a Bigfooter at all. I was asked to do a TV show for National Geographic on the orang pendek, where we basically sequenced the hair and determined that it wasn't the orang pendek. And that led to, I think the second show was on the Quitanzana, the Almas, the so-called Neanderthal human hybrids or ape men in the Caucasus of Russia. And it just sort of spiraled from there. I became one of the few people, I think Brian Sykes and I are the only geneticists who have given the people interested in this the time of day. So I've met lots of interesting people and lots of strange people. So I've tested hundreds of samples for various TV shows and friends and stuff over the years. Please don't send me anything. It's always arranged in advance. And I've never had anything anomalous. I've had negative results where the sample just didn't yield DNA. So I know nothing about it, but I've always found bears and coyotes and people and horses and pigs and whatever. And so I've just never seen anything. And I'm not a believer that tracks and footprint casts and sounds, recordings and stuff like that are enough evidence to demonstrate the existence of something. That kind of trace evidence is not adequate. If they want to find it, they need real biological material from an animal that can be tested, can look at the anatomy, can look at the DNA. Just sounds and blurry pictures and blurry FLIRs is not going to be enough. It's too easy to catch 2 seconds of a bear walking between trees on a fuzzy video. That's not evidence. Step up your game. Always make sure you have good cameras. Use your camera traps to maybe find the location or whatever. But then you need biological evidence that you haven't contaminated. If you're out in the forest, you should have a little pouch with some gloves in it, some alcohol, some tweezers, sterile tubes, etc. And if you find something, be very careful in collecting it. Our techniques are now so sensitive. Just breathing as you're collecting a sample could be enough to contaminate it. So, mask, the whole 9 yards, basically. And if you're serious about it, you can just have a little pouch, 6-inch by 2-inch pouch on your belt could carry all the gear that you need to properly do it. My personal favorite that I would love for it to still exist is the giant ground sloth. And there are stories down in the Brazilian Amazon that they still exist down there. It's just such a cool creature. And when I was a graduate student at Harvard University, I would walk by the giant ground sloth skeleton, fossilized skeleton in the Museum of Comparative Zoology almost every day. So it's just amazingly cool animal. I would love it to still exist. That's a hard one. I would probably go with the Yeti, just because cold adapted animals are generally larger and more powerful.